Smash button. Today on Let's Talk FGO. Valentine's, more Valentines, Tanner Ishkagal. Did I also say Valentine's? Hi, I'm one of your hosts, White Chocolate Omega. With me as always, definitely not a rabbit in a paper bag hat. Lucky.
I'm a little upset you didn't say German chocolate.
But I wanted the paper bag in there.
So, everyone, I hope you're enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka Master in the Chocolate Factory. And while we here at City Mega like to bring you the latest FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events with the JP and EN version of the game. So anyone not wanting spoilers should stream to the heavens, armies explode.
Just like Yoko Taro. I offer no comments on anything resulting to an event that's not over yet. It's like when we're playing Dead Space and people are saying things in chat, and I'm just like, well, just wait till we get to the end. Don't assume something's not explained just because we've got 2 hours left.
Axe, you can have a harem of men and women, and I still think you can get away with saying Normies Explode.
Normies Explode is more of just like it's a statement on people in relationships, period. You don't have to be a normie if you're married. Anyway, we're going to run through our usual show stuff. I don't expect this show will take too long, but we do have things, and shows, and things, and chocolate. That's not technically a lie either. I do have some Reese's Pieces in the back. But I'm not going to nosh on them, because that'd be, really loud in the microphone. Anyway. Before we go anywhere else, I'd like to remind you this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Adam Harp, Architect 10, Bucksto G, Carlos, Dragon, Ferris, Fiat Iceberg, Jeremy Vasquez, Just of the Fate, John Sandoval, Starlight, Legendary Boss Hunter, Regent Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robin, Charvor, Sean Pryor, some guy named Bob, Siren 23, and Varian the Crow. You couldn't see it, but I was counting on my fingers the whole way through. No idea why. It just helps. Makes me feel enthused. Yeah. Anyway, I'm enthusiastic about your support. Thank you, everybody. And if you like what we do, want to see some more, consider us on Patreon. And then... normally, I pivot straight to checking with everybody's favorite Kohai Mesh. Yeah, I can...
Senpai! 起きてください!
I can say, wake the fuck up, Senpai, because it's been like 2 minutes. So confused by my tabs. They're kind of in a different order than I was expecting. Anyway, pro tips. I don't really have a lot to go on here, but there's a couple. Mostly this event is pretty straightforward, and I don't think there's anything weird going on. I put it out here that I feel like I should say something about Bitter Shadows quests, but I don't really have anything. I saw some people, really busting their balls to, get maximum clears, and I'm just kind of like, I'll just, clear them how I clears them.
I don't have the brain space for those kind of strats. People be pulling out some fucking witchcraft and fucking quantum physics for some of that shit, I swear.
Yeah, and they're in the channels asking for hey, does anybody have a level 120 or an NP2 version of this servant on support? And I'm just like, okay, well, does that make the math? I guess it probably does. I'm bad at math.
I'm very bad at math.
I've just been, schmoovin' with fucking Muramasa loops. Arts go burr. I usually get around 22 drops. I think that's several waves cleared. 11 guys? Because it's 2 drops per guy.
I think I'm usually around 14 to 15-ish.
You do have a couple 120s, though, that I don't, so you might get some extra damage in there. I also haven't been using the fucking God cartridges at all. I should probably start spicing a couple of those in, because I have 30 of them. But
they just do debuffs to one dude, don't they?
Yeah, but it's a lot debuff, so it's probably so that you can make sure you kill one of those really chunky servants when they show up.
Oh, that's a good idea.
When they got 80k HP, it's well, I'm gonna give you minus 100% defense and resistance to all card types, and minus 100% resistance to NP damage, so die. Karen also says normies explode. Come on. Anyway, the actual thing remotely resembling a pro tip I have is probably not necessary, but it has come up a couple of times, so I would like to remind everybody that... yeah, he sees the note. Servants that FGO treats as genderless or both genders or whatever in that, lovely spectrum there, you can give them either your red or blue super lock on chocolate, but you can only give them one of them. You cannot double them up. And if you somehow haven't used those yet, it's out there. But yeah, this is just the only thing remotely resembling a pro tip I have right now. Apparently, I think the new event also still has the super lock-ons, and it includes some battery stuff as well. Seems neat. Give you some start and NP juice. That's pretty cool. But I'm not diving into that one.
Axe just wants to talk about controversy so he can get out his feelings.
People have too many thoughts and feelings about Japanese pronouns. Is Karen's CE locked to clearing the event? Because if it is, then no, because you can't actually give it to her. If it is available, yes, then you can, I think, super lock on Karen if you rolled her. But yeah, Sometimes servants are actually restricted to, clearing the stuff. For instance, the new JP Valentines, you can't get the new SSR's CE until you clear the event. I believe that last year, say, Shonagun was similar.
I believe so.
So yeah, it's kind of up in the air, but yeah, there's a lot of little things. Let us know in the comments if there's any other weirdness going on there. We move on to Records from the Throne, our regular Achivo topic.
It's just me this week, and it's not much. All I did was a single 10 spin. 1 10 spin. I got 11 things, and among those 11 things, I got 1 copy of each of the Gacha CEs. So I'm just like, no, I'm done.
That's pretty solid. Go ahead.
No, I'm just finishing with that.
Okay. I'm waiting on like a virtual rate of day or something, so I can do a 10 spin with tickets.
I'm considering doing that as well. But I'm always like, oh yeah, I need Gacha CE so I can, get just a little bit more out of everything.
It's true, it's helpful.
It is helpful.
But with no evils, Robin will write something funny here, I'm sure. Or he'll just tell me to fuck off in the time codes, which is probably funny in its own right. We move on to, did you finish your master missions? So, I'm going to simplify this and say that for all of these, append, excluding Grailfront servants to the end of them. But I don't want to say that 5 times. But defeat 3 chaotic servants, 3 lawful, defeat 15 enemies with the heaven attribute, 15 enemies with the earth attribute, 15 enemies with the human attribute, and complete quests 10 times. As somebody already dropped in the patron chat, just do the event. I think Earth is the hardest one of these to do because you'll only get, 1 per run of a free quest, but you will be doing more than 15 of these free quests to clear that 3 million point ladder. So, yeah. Keep it in Mund. But no, seriously, just do the event. Grailfronts don't count. If you missed the Grailfront, though, you can go ahead and catch up on that, because that's still open, but I think it's pretty good. This is not in my notes, but I think I'm at personally, 500k points, I think?
I think I'm at 800 myself.
I don't even know because I haven't actually started spending on my chocolates. I haven't had a good time to sit down and run through them all. I don't actually know how many I need to clear all my servants either.
Well, something I've noticed this year, I don't know if they did this every year, but it does tell you chocolates that you've already received. So I haven't actually been using any of my surprise chocos, and I've just been using my lock-on chocos to just do ones I haven't seen.
Yeah, I can probably try that too. Surprises are funny, but
yeah, I don't know how many actually lock-on chocos are in the event, but I'm hoping there's a fair amount.
There should be a decent excess of Bitter Shadows quest, but yeah, if you missed a couple of those because you didn't have time to log in, that's a little rough. That's another pro tip, I guess. Make sure to at least attempt the Bitter Shadows quest. If nothing else, it's still, even if you do very poorly on it, only clear 9 guys or whatever, it's all just free points. So they switch every day. So, but yeah, we'll probably talk more about Valentine's stuff going on when we get to the free talk. But we do have some news in the Skelograms. A skeleton hands you a telegram. What's in it? For JP, 27 million downloads. Started the 13th, goes until the 20th. Log in for 10 of various things, including, actually, bumping this up, instead of 10 tickets at the end, if you go to the 7th day, you get 30 Saint Quartz. So you get a real 10 spin, not a ticket 10 spin. So there's, minimums and everything. Yeah. So that's an interesting improvement. I kind of hope that one keeps going forward. There's also permanent extra master missions. I mean, I know some people like the tickets better, but the 30 Saint Quartz is, I think, technically a improvement in terms of math. Permanent extra master missions have been added for leveling servant skills, so this is similar to, leveling CEs or leveling servants. It's all the way from, 1 to 10, and I think the maximum is 3 servants, or 3 skills to 10, so if you do just 1 servant, it'll count. And if you do all of this, it's up to 30 Saint Quartz total, plus some MPs, plus some foes. I realized I forgot to finish writing that note, but I remember what it looked like. Additionally, during this time period, you have half AP on daily EXPs and mats, half AP free quests if you cleared all of Lost World 7, Nahui Miklan, and double suck chance. Additionally, there is an Areshkigal banner, and there is a special quest available to get her new costume, her tanned self, if you have cleared Nahui Miklan. So, yeah, Tanned Areshkigal is real. She is a costume. You can get her. And yes, to answer the question that was going on there, I don't believe you can ever actually spend 10 tickets at once yet. I could see them maybe doing a feature where you can queue up how many tickets you can do. They did make it so that if you spend 10 tickets in a row, you get the 11th. So, that we already have. But there's no, speed spending. Anyway, moving on from 27 million downloads, so that's a lovely refresher, kind of clearing up some stuff. JP's Valentine's event, Valentine's 2023, has begun. Even though it is like 3 days after Valentine's, kind of shows you how we're in a little bit of a scuffle here. But started this 17th and goes until the 10th of March. So they're really going for that 3-week shit as usual. Really stretching this one out. It's a Valentine's. The new SSR is Popus Johanna. I believe they are going with Johanna or Johanna as the pronunciation here because of all the alternate names, but we'll see. I've seen some places use the abbreviated version of Pope Joan, but I think Johanna is what the full like Saint Graph title is.
Listen,
anyway,
I've been indoctrinated by Persona 5. It's just always you're going to be Johanna to me.
Yeah. Well, guess what, Internet? She's not real, probably. So there's, I believe there's some debate for how you can do it, and that means that Johanna's just as valid as everything else. But as usual, there are loads of fucking banners. They've got like 2 every day. Though, funnily enough, this does mean that because she was permanently added, it's only for like 19 hours, I think they said, but Nido Alter already is going to get another little banner rate up for like 19 hours. That's pretty funny. But they got that stuff up there. And the mechanics seem pretty typical. There's a time gate, there's a point ladder, the works. We'll discuss Johanna more as a unit later. But we did get another notification for us in NA to round that out. Obviously, we are in the peak of the Valentines. And what is supposed to be coming after? I don't even know if I can check what's next, because Grand Order Wiki's been down lately. And they have it's slightly out of date for like modern stuff, but they had the very good historical thing for events going on. We got a downloads campaign coming. That's neato. Okay, the Fate Grand Order, the Fandom Wiki has the same table chart. So let me see if I can navigate everything. So let's see, March. Yeah, so we should have our equivalent of 2,300 downloads. Also, there's going to be a Say banner like any day now for rerunning last year's Valentine's. But we'll get 23 million downloads, and then right after that, it's White Day, Slapstick Museum. We get to be Phantom Thieves.
Exciting.
But, of course, we are also getting our special NA-only type bonusy stuff. It's another President's Day campaign. Starts the 19th, goes until the 26th, and log in for 5 times total during this campaign period, if I'm reading this right, to get a total of 10 Saint Quartz. Nice. Yeah, so, as always, while it's not, overly complex or anything, they've been doing this pretty regularly for the past couple of years, and it's always good to get that little infusion of Saint Quartz, get that little extra on there. I'm sure nobody in our community will complain about the extra 10. So, yeah, there we go. That's really all of it for news. Obviously, we'll be talking about how we were feeling about Bitter Valentine, maybe some Grailfront last thoughts in there, and also talking about the new servant after the mailbag break.
So, with that, it is time to switch on over to this week's Let's Talk FGO mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. This week, let me hit a refresh here just to make sure. See if we got any last minute takers. No last minutes. So this week we have a lovely 9, a mighty number 9. Not too bad considering I posted this, this morning.
9 hours ago.
Yeah, everything's coming up 9. But, so, let's see here. Oof. We'll start off with the Eternal Storm. They say, what is a concept or a plot point would you... Bleh. I can talk. What is a concept or plot point would you both like to see explored in a future event? Thank you, and thank you both, and good luck on your roles.
Well, that's one of them broad questions.
I mean, there's a lot of things I want explored, I suppose.
Yeah, explored's a good word for it. I'm having a hard time, picking a concrete idea out of my head.
Yeah, here's something. Let us explore the Servantverse. What the fuck is up with that?
And why are we so casual about it?
I would like to explore more about the reverse side of the world. It kind of just exists.
I don't really know if Fate in general has ever actually buttoned up and explained much about that one. What's it like? When you see it in the Apocrypha, it's just kind of like a void full of darkness. A space between spaces. Is that what it's supposed to be?
Sure. Like I said, I think that list can go on. Like I said, Fate as a property has a lots of books on its shelves, I should say, and we don't think we've opened up a lot of them yet. Thanks,
yeah,
Masu.
I think you could almost as a if you wanted to level it as a criticism, the way the Fate, franchise usually works is, while it's not fair, it's also not safe, the words I was trying to look for, to say that each episode, each entry is standalone, but, yeah, Axe said it. I think usually when they come up with a new entry, they like it to come at things from a unique angle, which means that we don't always go back and backfill concepts that were not very heavily explained earlier,
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've talked about this. They have never done a good job of explaining what the first 2 Grail Wars were like, nor actually showing the 3rd Grail War. We've gotten snippets of stuff, we've heard things that have happened, but nobody's tried to actually do, like, a Fate -1 and explain, like, what happened in that actual setup and why, that means things for plot stuff. We just allude to it a lot. So, there's a lot of things I think FGO could do to, like, explore things. We've definitely talked about them before, but it's a very open-ended question, so.
No, Max, you gotta remember, it's gotta be Fate. You gotta put 2 words together that just almost make no sense. So it's gotta be like Fate, Core Destiny, or something.
Sometimes these things are similar, or simple. Remember Zero? That was pretty easy. But then you get shit like Fate, Prototype, Fragments of Blue and Silver.
Yeah, but that's also Apocrypha.
It's a pretty $5 word.
Like, cause we got we have Prototype, but then we have Fragments, and we have Strange, Fake.
Extra started one word, but then they started adding extra words.
Like Extella, and it's like,
they were like, what do we call our second Extella game? Extella Link. But
technically, they're all side IPs.
Samurai Remnant. God, I'm sorry. Somebody showed me on Twitter the weirdest ass, like, secondaries versus primary takes of, like, what is core Fate franchise and what isn't. I think this was, in terms of, like, talking about, I think it was a Trash Taste podcast that recently talked about how Gundam is hard to get into, which is kind of true. There's a lot of Gundams.
Yeah.
And, like, starting at the very beginning and going through chronologically can be kind of tedious, especially because there are some rough entries if you do that way. But Fate is not quite at that point, and also I think Fate is fundamentally different than Gundam because unless you've got access to, like, Japanese hardware or can read Japanese, you can't even enjoy half the shit because there's so many unlocalized side games. Like, Fate's obviously blown up in the West a lot these days, right?
Mm-hmm.
FGO was on banners at AX and shit. During, like, the late 2000s period that was, I think, very, very peak for Fate in terms of, like, the Japanese audience, when it was really starting to get its ground there, when they were doing stuff like getting ufotable to start working on, Fate Zero and, Extra and CCC were coming out. There were a lot of side games that just weren't profitable to bring over here, and some of that stuff is important. For instance, I'm pretty sure that the Karen in this event is supposed to be the Karen who's a playable character in Tiger Coliseum, a PSP fighting game series that never released outside of Japan. So I don't really know how they're going to handle that one writing-wise, if it's a big deal, because the Western fans have no fucking point of reference on that. But it's
Fate Hollow Ataraxia? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a lot of weird shit.
No, we can't act. Be quiet.
Lucky says Hollow Ataraxia. Axe asks, can we talk about Hollow Ataraxia? I mean, that Fate Stay Night itself still hasn't been released, which is another weird thing, right? Like I said, this conversation was about how it's hard to get into Fate. Somebody had this weird take, like, only Fate Stay Night and Zero are canon, and then somebody with a came back was like, no, Zero's not canon. And they're technically true because the Zero, like, anime and light novel doesn't match 100% of the events of the Grail War as described in Fate Stay Night, because every time we add to this universe, we add extra flair. The problem with Fate is that there's no way to talk about core canon because it's a literal timeline universe. It's a multiverse verse.
Yeah, I'm about to say, it's like we literally have a mechanic that has parallel dimensions. It's all canon.
Fate Stay Night itself literally has 3 mutually exclusive timelines in it. Fate, Unlimited Blade Works, and Heaven's Feel cannot coexist. But yeah, no, so, like, I understand if people feel like Fate is hard to get into, but I also feel like Fate is just kind of like, it's all over the place. Just pick whatever you like.
Take something way too seriously.
If you have only ever played FGO, That's fine. FGO's big. Literally, Japan just had their 27 million downloads campaign, so, like, a lot of downloads. You know.
Oh, Might Like a Dragon?
Yeah, but ataraxia is a really fucking... Another $5 word. They didn't even have to say hollow ataraxia. You could have just said hollow serenity, and that's just perfectly fine. FGO does explain the concept of, proper human history, pan-human history as we call it, so there is an idea that there's definitely, like, a rough idea of how this is supposed to go without time cop shenanigans. I would hate to be... Mostly just with the way people are also with streaming and backseating, I would hate to be somebody who doesn't know jack shit about Fate, like booting up FGO for the first time. Honestly, Axe, that's probably because we've talked about this a lot. Extella and FGO were supposed to come out a lot closer to each other. I'm sure Nasu was working on, like, the top-level script for FGO and the core script of Extella, basically at the same time. Nasu wasn't writing FGO events right away, but I'm sure he gave all of his friend writers the pitch meeting. Anyway,
all right, so I'm gonna cut. Nope, yeah. I'm cutting off everyone there. Like I said, Mega likes to talk, and people. Yeah. So we are going to move on. I hope you enjoyed that discussion, but we got places to think, places to be, things to do,
places to think, things to be.
Yeah, people to do. Wait. So let us move not so swiftly on, I suppose. This next one comes from Bamboozled and Tantalized by Vitra's Diabolic Valentine's Chocolate. See, now I'm interested. I want to see what that precious dragon has. But they say, question, in general, do you prefer silly events like this Valentine's or more serious ones? Hope you get all the chocolates and gifts you are hoping for. Heart. You can't see it, but I did the heart. 2 hands, 1 heart. And the question is, I like both. And I'm not saying that as trying to be indecisive or making a comment. I just genuinely like both. I like them alternating. Listen, I do not need like 10 events back to back of hardcore seriousness where we don't actually accomplish anything and everything's joke. But I also don't need 10 events back to back of just nothing's fucking serious and jokes when I know we have, world saving shenanigans to get to in the background. So
yeah, pacing is important. I don't think Arknights is all serious, but it definitely had more serious stories than not serious ones. That's kind of why I ended up bouncing off it. Girls Frontline felt the same.
Yeah, that's why I like why I enjoy Blue Archive, Destiny Child, and Nikkei. Nikkei will put you on the fucking floor, but they got some good comedy and their spirits with her all the way. But yeah, no, I need jokes. I need levity. I need to get off, I need to get off the floor train. It's a train that just drags you around on the floor as you go, hey, look at that depressing thing, and you just cry. Yeah, I need to get off of that once in a while.
Just face first, lying planked on the cart as it wheels around. All around your familiar faces. We're good. We're not going on another diatribe. But yeah, no. I agree with Lucky. Pacing and emotional breadth are important. You need to have moments of relaxation in between the serious moments for the audience, otherwise your audience will either get too uninvested because they can't take anything seriously, or they get too uninvested because they feel like they have to take everything seriously and they don't want that.
So, let us move on. This next one comes from Diabetic Drowning in Chocolate. I hope you are well stocked on insulin and sensors. My roommate's diabetic, and I'm always slightly terrified for him because he refuses to watch what he eats. He's like, I'll just stab myself more. I'm like, bruh.
Now I'm just thinking of that Russian banter bit. Is diabetes just damage over time?
It is. Which lead to eventual limb loss and death. Nerve damage. All these lovely things. They say, hey guys, hope your week went well. Do you think we'll ever get a dedicated Grail Front game mode? Not a limited event, but something like a main interlude. A permanent option that isn't required, but exists to give a challenge to masters if they want it. I would join it, but what about you? Wishing you all the best. Happy Single Awareness Week. Guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, I do not find singles awareness funny. If you're single on Valentine's Day, you're probably single for the rest of the fucking year.
Yeah, I make the joke like once and let it go. I wouldn't even call it a week, damn.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. But, to the question of like a dedicated Grailfront mode, I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I just kind of feel like it almost works better as a limited event with like a set series of maps that you run through, because if it's like a main interlude and it's just like the same 7 maps forever, I know some people like to redo the maps to like do different setups and try different stuff, but even they'd probably get bored after a while. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I just don't know if it would add too much overall.
I don't think it would have a lot of staying power. I think people would play with it for like a week and then just get bored of it.
Yeah, it's not like I don't think anybody has a whole hell of a lot of fun doing dailies. Obviously, when you get new servants, you can try new like combos, right, and try new setups. But after that, it's usually just autopilot unga bunga. But people do dailies because they get shit out of it. If you did a main interlude of Grailfront, people would probably try it to experiment. Some diehards would probably try it, whenever they got a new servant. But you would probably very quickly see activity like drop off over time, which is not what the devs want if they're going to develop a new permanent gameplay system. So if they had some way to like make it relevant, like maybe you can do a Grailfront map once a day for like a fucking, I don't know, a Saint Quartz fragment or something. Like if there was a tangible reward, that'd be cool. But otherwise, I suspect it would fall off. I don't think once per day for a Grail frag would be good. That'd be a holy grail every week. That might fuckle the economy a little bit.
But this person has a part 2. They say, P.S. Lucky has given me some good book recommendations for here, so here is one for him. The Mage Errant series is an excellent coming-of-age story. It can be sometimes a bit slow, but the magic and world-building are great. I binged the entire audiobook series in a week at work, and I'm looking forward to the next one in spring. No spoilers, but book 1 is. But the book is one of my favorite characters. I might give that a go. Let me put that into a search bar. I am pretty sure I'm going to be losing my job here, so I did actually put my Audible on pause, and I just bought a bunch of books. But let me see.
Jared, Publisher's Pack from Audible, Book 1 and 2. The Labyrinth, Book 1.
Who narrates it?
The audiobook, let me see. Show me Amazon. Narrator, Ralph Lister.
Ralph Lister, I do not know that. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you very much for the recommendation. I'll try it out.
Damn, Book 1 of 6. Well, they got good covers.
So, moving swiftly on, this next one comes from the Tyrant King who lost all concept of time for a hot minute.
Time is a weird soup.
I don't even want to call it soup. Question. Hey guys, with JP's Valentine's Eve slowly trickling out, which ones have you been your favorite so far? If you've watched them, or which chocolate/return gift is your favorite? Anyway, that's it for me. Send good vibes your way. A happy belated Valentine's, and hope you have a great evening. Well, I have not watched any of the Japanese ones, because I don't spoil my shit like that.
I haven't seen any of the new JP ones posted. Hold on, let me click. JP spoiler, are you melting? Yeah, a little bit.
They're always melting a little bit.
I still have it muted from Lost Belts. People were very agita. I haven't actually even seen images of the new CEs yet either.
Really?
I don't think of the Valentine CEs, not the
the Valentines. I was about to say.
Yeah. Yes, I know about Crumhild's butt. The internet is exploding, but like the new actual Valentines or the chocolates or returned ones, I don't think the Fandom Wiki updated their list of CEs, so I haven't even seen any of the new ones because the event just started.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And we want to talk about my new favorite one this year. All the ones I've seen, Van Gogh's is top percent.
Yeah, it makes me so sad I don't have one. It seems like so weird because I saw some screenshots.
It's so weird.
Muramasa's was pretty fun when I did that one for the Super Lock-On.
I still haven't used my Super Lock-On. Oh yeah, guys, fun fact, I put my Super Lock-On on Summer Sashi because I am just been brain dead farming with Arts Loops.
Yep.
Oh, we'll probably use my mail Lock-On scenes. I'm not sure. I probably will just do it for Muramasa, just because,
I mean, either works. I did mine on Castoria.
I used the regular Lock-On Castoria, and in hindsight, I've been like, oh wait, no, I should use my Super Lock-On Bond. I know, maybe no, wait, no.
It's like 50% Bond. You'll have if you do not somehow have her Bond CE by next year, you'll have another opportunity because I'm pretty sure the Super Lock-On mechanic is not going away, guys.
Ooh.
And I just did Castoria myself because I knew I was doing Muramasa for mail, and also because it helps with the arts setups. Her scene was interesting. There's a lot of foreshadowing in it.
Yeah. I was looking at Castoria's and I was like, wait a fucking minute here. Tonikaku, let's see here. Oh, I forgot. Wah. They sent in good vibes. This next one comes from a procrastinator who is being a bit more intentional. Sending good vibes to all. Wah. Thank you. And we move on. This next one comes from a hunter stuck with a 10 billion QP debt from wanting CEs. They say, hey yo, Dragon of the Studio, Omega, and Mad Rabbit of the Rune. I am losing my tongue. Hey yo, Dragon. He needs some milk. Hey, Nate, some milk. Hey yo. Okay, let's hang on. Let's switch to a different Lucky here. Hey yo, Dragon of the Studio, Omega, and Mad Rabbit of the Moon Lucky. Hopefully you've had a fulfilling Valentine's or Single Appreciation Day, whatever one you take it as. Also hope that you've been enjoying the new Valentine's scenes. I've greatly enjoyed Summer Use, despite the choking hazard. Lastly, a pro tip for the crowd. If you don't want the new SSR but want the event CEs, just, don't roll. Desir, Sensor will screw you. Accept the extra grind.
Or just do like Omega's doing and wait for a rate up for a different servant, because they're all different. Thanks, Pity. MSRP 10 billion QP.
Let's see here. My Valentine's wasn't particularly special. I did make some chocolate and give it out to some ladies in my life. Some co-workers. There might have been a girl I've been interested in, but I don't think it's gonna work. But, shot my shot. Other than that, nah.
I streamed. We didn't really do anything special that day. We just did the normal thing, because I didn't feel like going crazy. I did actually order some Reese's Pieces, because I was like, it is Valentine's season, and I do want some chocolate. We scooch them. Do the side scooch.
So, sorry, I am not all here right now.
Lucky ate too much food.
I did. And I had a horrible, horrible realization about the food I was eating, and it has blasted my mind. Like, the food I ate, I realized I couldn't actually taste anything but a little bit of the sauce. And it's like this giant burger of, meat patty, fucking bacon, cheese. I'm like, all I could taste was, the cheese and some of the sauce on the burger. I was like, what does the bun taste like? What does the burger taste like? What does the bacon taste like? It doesn't taste like anything.
That's giving me an existential crisis just thinking about it. I'm like, wait, you had a giant burger with all those ingredients. You could only taste, one? Something has gone wrong here.
Yeah, no.
Food works? That's not how food's supposed to work.
That's not how food's supposed to work. This is why it took me extra long here, because I was I ate one burger and I was having this feeling. And I had another burger that I was going to save for later, but I was freaked out about my lack of taste, so I ate the second one.
You had to do a control test.
So I was like, ah!
Anyway, we're here now. There's only 5 of these left. We're halfway through.
This next one comes from King of Apples, who should really go for a walk, but it's so far. Question, what the... No, I'm sorry. Question, with the precedent set by Emiya and Merlin that servants can be summoned from the future, who or what would you like to see as another future servant? P.S. Ado Edom is fucking Grand Saber. Well, that's fucking notes.
I don't know if you could count. Well, if they're saying it's a speculation of the future shit because he's 10,000 years in the future, that could be fun. If that's an actual story spoiler, you're banned, bro. I don't think it is though. I don't fucking know though. Like I said, I've had our JP spoiler channel blocked up for a while because people are still talking about shit thanks to all the delays. Anyway, I really appreciate that our Patreon chat is dead silent right now. Thank you guys. Go ahead.
If I wanted a future servant, I want future Alter Musashi Grand Saber.
There's a lot of other weird stuff. Technically, I don't think Merlin is from the future. I think he's from we summon him because it's the past.
Yeah, because he technically wasn't alive.
Yeah.
Therefore, he can be considered dead.
If you want an actual future person, that's technically Voyager because he hasn't turned off yet. He's still going. He's still trucking. That's actually a fixed thing going on.
I think technically Arise is from the future.
Yeah, that is true. I think the version of her that appears is the one that's from Requiem, so that's 2025, 2030? It's still a few years from the future. Is she still technically from the future?
Technically yes, but technically no. Remember, she basically... Our Kiara is the Kiara from our timeline that got hooked up to future Kiara and basically downloaded her.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when the Seraph platform was supposed to be, because that was at a different time, but it was also weird.
Yeah, because we had an oil rig, but then it got put in a fucking time loop, and in that time loop, we had one Kiara who got hooked up with another Kiara, and then our Kiara was all like, oh, this is some pretty baller shit here.
Yeah, what was it? Vipar was that one? He was like, listen, you're gonna be great. I need you to get all beastly and consume humanity. And she was like, that sounds rad. I'm the boss now. And the Demon Builder was like, oh no.
Also, I'm pretty sure Sarah Kiara's Valentine's had a bad ending, which I thankfully avoided.
Summer Kiara? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she does.
So...
I believe there are some multiple choice in that one.
Anywhoops, let's move on. This next one comes from Bunny Girl versus leveling up, crafting, and using tribe quests in Grand Company turn-ins. Living that 14 life. They say, no questions this week, just want to sing good vibes and make Karen bless her rolls. No, thank you. She's probably gonna charge me for it.
Yeah, Karen's gonna shoot me and charge me for the bullets. Oh wait, that already happened.
So anyway, wah, good vibes for all. And we move on. This next one comes from Moon is... becoming one with the chocolates she consumes. Hello there, Omega and Lucky. This is late, but happy Valentine's Day. No questions this week, sending good vibes. Wah. And a reminder to be mindful of how much chocolate you eat. I don't have to worry about chocolate right now. I have to worry about burger. My burger to body weight ratio is horribly skewed, and I do not like it.
Too much burger.
Too much burger.
Burger.
Oh, she does do that.
Okay, so that's her. I don't have a Karen. I'm glad I called her Valentine's Day correctly. She shoots you and does charge you the money for it. Got it.
So, next one comes from Dave trying to think up a question in time. Her favorite color. Me? Purple. I love purple. Purple's great.
Red.
Moving on! This last one comes from the man, the myth, the legend, Agent 418, who says, hello, Lucky Omega. Have a good weekend. P.S. Convention lines suck. I wonder what convention you're at. I hope you're having a good time, lines aside.
Yep. Lines are bad, cute, and rough, but still. Hope you had fun. Oh. Sorry, stretching my bones. Okay, that's in the mailbag. Ooh, 2 conventions and a tournament in the same building. Damn. Well, you got your daily steps in.
That's a lot of nerds.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Where are we at? 50 minutes? Okay, pretty solid. For 9 questions, and a lot of those were just, good vibes.
I enjoy your good vibes.
We appreciate the V-base. The Weebus. How many other weird ways can I say vibes? I think I'm out. I don't know. I'll move on. Kaldea Free Talk. Hello, Internet. Would you like to know more about your lady and savior, Pope West Johanna? Well, too bad, because I'm going to tell you anyway. New servant keys. So we got a new ruler. And I'm just going to say, I don't draw a lot of comparison directly to Karen in my notes here, but I can't help but think of them back to back because I just recorded the Karen Wanted, and she's just come out, and the 2-year gap. So it's an interesting transposition. I'll probably talk about that a little afterward. But also, go watch the Karen Wanted. I'll probably say this a couple more times, because that was not doing so hot. You guys really ate up Taira no Kagakiyo, and Karen, not as popular. Even though I did do some fucking brain work in that one. Anyway, Joan, she's a new ruler. She is heavy on the HP, light on the attack. I'm not sure about exactly where she stands, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty low, and then, HP's quite high. She's got a quick arts buster deck. Average hit counts and NP gain. It's literally 3 hits all around. It's 0.55. Very common shit. Very, very standard straight in the line stuff. Her NP is an AoE arts. It buffs her damage versus evil by 50% for 1 turn first. It gives all enemies a 1-time 3 turns buff block. And it also deals bonus damage to human attribute enemies, man attribute, based on overcharge. This is funny to me because, while not a lot of the servant details are similar, this NP is basically the NP that I designed for a Fanservant Friday Pope John. She just, summons the light of the church to blast guys, and if you're evil and human, you get extra blasted. It's a very solid one, and I think part of the reason why the comparisons to Karen will end up very inevitably is that 1/3 buff block on NP is the same for both of them. It's just interesting that Joan goes for double trait damage, and Karen doesn't even get her trait damage until next year, right? That's next year's Valentine's. So it's very interesting. But I also do want to say, to bring up those points, I have noticed a couple people in our community saying that they've gotten Karens and they've been using her in the event, and they feel like even with plus 100% bonus damage, she feels a little lackluster in that department, which is never a good sign when you've got event bonus damage. And even then, people are like, this feels a little underperforming. So that rank up will come, and hopefully will give us some extra juice. So the rest of PJ's skills, her first skill gives the target a lot of Star Absorb on arts, and 50 to 100% crit damage on arts specifically for 3 turns. And also gives her a buff to generate 5 to 10 stars per turn. So that's pretty good. That's double crit damage on arts cards for 3 turns, and generating stars. Second skill gives the party a pretty normal 10 to 20% arts up for 3 turns, gives everybody in the party 1 time 3 turns debuff immunity, gives everybody 500 to 1k damage cut for 3 turns. No times, just damage cut. Always pretty fun, usually. And also gives herself a 20 to 30% battery. Useful for keeping those lupins going. Final skill is pretty simple. It's a charisma variant type thing. It's 10 to 20% attack up for 3 turns, and then also the party for those 3 turns gets 10 to 20% NP gauge per turn. So that helps her go faster, helps the team go faster. Just in general, pretty good. Her passives are just Territory Creation A and Magic Resistance EX. So pretty typical for rulers, the EX. And that's really it. It's not flashy, but it seems like she can put in the hurt and keeps the team alive. I think Arts Crit ruler shit is very in vogue right now. Synergizes well with previous units. That's, Sherlock's entire deal. And there are quite a lot of other Arts rulers out there. And just in general, with Lady Avalon from last year's summer, Arts Crit is doing pretty good. So having a unit who, takes neutral damage can give you more attack and Arts ups, and also, 100% extra crit damage on Arts cards for 3 turns, and you get all the stars. It's pretty gnarly. I don't think she's really, breaking any boundaries, but definitely has some good synergy with other Arts units, and will definitely, again, double trait damage. We'll pack some heat on some guys. It is very interesting to me, like I said, to see the kind of comparison between 2 Valentine's rulers back-to-back like this. Mm-hmm. Karen is not really a superlative damage dealer, I think, even with her NP upgrade that comes next year, but that helps because it does give her trait damage and extra multipliers. But Karen is way better at, just weird, boss fights and challenge quest type stuff. She's got immunities to certain debuffs, she has invols and stuff like that. She has a lot of batteries. Johanna is just going to be like, hey, we doing arts? We do arts. You want some crits? You want some battery? We're doing it. Just, all around good support. I know a lot of people were saying skip, but for mechanics, I'm pretty interested in this unit in future, because I've got some of that arts. But that is your new servant deets. I do kind of like what they did with her ascensions. She has an owl in one of them. That's cool. Don't you like owls, chat?
Owls are great.
Please respond in the comments. Yes or no if you like owls. Anyway, well, actually, technically it's not in my notes, but probably should be first in any chronological sort of discussion. Just any finishing thoughts on the previous Grail front, since we were in the middle of that last week. We had, a couple maps to go, I think? Yeah, Valentine's started, Sunday night. So, yeah, overall, actually, I do think I enjoyed this Grail front a little bit more than the first one. While there was a little bit of shenaniganery on some of the maps, I think in general the addition of the, flat buffs on certain tiles kind of encouraged you to kind of, hold the territory rather than be aggro all the time. And I think they did a better job at managing the class matchups so that I didn't always feel like I was forced at a disadvantage. There were a couple maps like that, but it wasn't all the time. And they gave us plenty of extra slots I could use on rulers and shit, so I think I had a fun time. I wasn't necessarily hurting for any extra story, and I think I got a decent mix of, wins by clearing all servants and wins by clearing the master. Mm-hmm. Seems like they did some good quality of life updates there. I'm excited to see what they do in the next one, because that should only be 2 or 3 months away for the Camelot one. Any thoughts on your end, Lucky, about the Grail front?
Not really. It really didn't proc in my head that it was a thing. I just knew I had to get it done at some point. I think I squished it all out in the last 3 days and just kept going on with my life.
Yeah, that's perfectly. Since there's no text to read, that's perfectly doable as well. Well then, let's talk about our first impressions of the Bitter Valentine event. That is in the middle of it. This is why we give our spoiler warnings. But yeah, no, it started. It's a Valentine's event. We're getting our regular drip of story every time. I do enjoy that we start right away and we get our look that Karen clearly plays for Team Gremlin.
Yes, I would like to give her a nomination for this year's Shadiest Goddess Award.
Yeah. Listen, there's a lot of tight competition in Chaldea, but I think she's a guarantee for that nomination and may have a slot at the award.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I enjoy how they managed to very rapidly encapsulate a character who has been on the fringes of a lot of Fate media. I talk about this a little bit in the Wanted, and there's even some I missed, but Karen gets around in the multiverse.
Yeah.
I forgot that there was a Karen-type character who was mentioned in Requiem, which is why there's that interaction with Edise. Obviously, she does appear as the school nurse in
Prisma.
Yeah, Prisma. I like that the Prisma girls are like, wait a minute, doesn't Miss Karen usually look older? Which is, but that, I talk about this in the one, but that's one of my major fucking Pepe Silva type moments, is like trying to figure out the timeline, because canonically in Hollow Ataraxia's timeline anyway, Karen is like a year younger than Sakura, I think. Like, she's supposed to be one of the youngest out of the Fate crew. She is a year or two younger than Shiro is. So, like, it's really weird that then, you know, we switch to Prisma and it's like, she's a fucking adult, question mark? We just don't ask these questions. But yeah.
We're going to have this talk next year with Bazooka.
Yeah, probably. Well, at least with Prisma, they explained it that Ilya got reset, so that is something. I did see some people, was it in our comments or in the episode, maybe in our Discord, somebody was talking about they always thought that she used magic to make herself look older in Prisma. I don't know if that's ever been, like, established, but it's possible? Yeah. Anyway, Karen gets around in the multiverse. She's in a lot of places. She's in some franchises. Like I mentioned earlier, she's in some stuff we can't see. I believe the paper bag gag is from Tiger Coliseum, which, like I said, was kind of a cutesy, like, mascot-y type fighting game series, technically, on the PSP. There were two of them, where Karen is a character, and there's some others there. I don't know anything about those games, or their, like, arcade-type storylines or anything, because, like, it's very hard to find that information on the internet. But in general, they do a good job of establishing it, and I think they do a good job of very shortly encapsulating kind of her big character traits. Like, she is supposed to be kind of a sadomasochist. That is kind of her thing, as opposed to her dad's thing being just a sadist. So, Karen clearly has fun when other people suffer, but also has her own weird fun when she suffers. And they do a decent job of encapsulating it. And then we just get, like, a lot of vignettes with her, which I think are very interesting. Shout out to, like, my main man, Ku and Kid Gil.
They're great straight men in this.
Yeah. Obviously, that is because of the Hollow Ataraxia type connection, but they're really good in this, and just, no, there's a lot of good work there, and just, like, when, you know, they're constantly talking in the, they deserve a little bit of violence on them. They talk a lot of shit, and you guys know the rule. Talk shit, get hit. They should be more careful about saying these things within Karen's earshot. Not that they're wrong, it's just there are certain things you just don't say out loud. And I do love seeing Ku kind of doing his regular Ku as well. Doing his kind of, like, you know, big brotherly kind of, you know, straight man thing, like you said. That's not very often seen. That's often usually more in some side stuff, like Cooking with Emiya Family and stuff.
Oh yeah,
but it's good to see it. And I almost want to see an animation of this event just so I can see what happens in that early one where fucking Kid Gil tries to, like, escape, and I'm just imagining Ku just grabs him by the scruff of his little jacket, just like, whoop, where you going?
Just holds him up.
Yeah.
Nah, I can see it.
There was a great joke in the most recent event where you run into Artemis, and she says to Ku, talks about how he's a deliciously voiced stranger or something, because Orion has the same voice actor as Ku. And I'm like, oh, it's so funny, you guys finally acknowledged that. Yes, dulcet tone stranger. So yeah, there's a lot of really good interactions here. And they do some pretty decent stuff. Karen is not great at friendly fire.
Nope.
She is that person when you're playing D&D who's like, if you're standing in a crowd of like 4 goblins, will cast fireball. And again, this I think is the sadism talk. But yeah, it's you know, we kind of ping pong back and forth. It's all in good fun for the most part. There's a lot of meta commentary in this event as well that I like, right?
Right.
Like, it eventually comes out that there's this fucking super secret chocolate pop-up store shit going on, run by a lady who is, you know, wearing a paper bag over her head, and none of our servants think this is weird, and just the master is just, like, full-on face-palming in the hallway.
Well, yeah, it's like, we're getting too used to weird shit.
Yeah, somebody, I think, should have raised an alarm before now.
Shout out to Medea apparently also being one of our mentors, apparently, in our giant list.
Yeah.
Listen, we're just gonna start a side project. We're just gonna call it History's Strongest Master Fujiwara. Or Fujiwara, excuse me.
Yeah. And that might have been supposed to be like a sensei, but it could have been like a shisho, like a master or mentor. Also, holy shit, Jason and regular Medea interacted.
Well, they say interacted, but Medea shoved basically what she thought was somewhat poison into his mouth, and then, after he escaped, basically conked him on the head and tied him up. So
yeah. Then he got weird, and she's like, she's
This
running
is
from
too
room to
weird.
room, being like, oh, and the fucking sparkle on Jason as he was talking, right? They did the fucking tooth shine after every line. I was just like, ugh. I appreciate that everybody reacted like, what the fuck is going on with him?
Oh yeah, no, I think that's great about the event in general. Everyone's just like, okay, people are getting along too well, and some people are like, nah. Then you see fucking Edison and fucking Tesla walking together, and people are all like, something's up.
Combined current. And they're using each other's like first names that have just like, ooh, who's wrong? And of
This
course,
is
there are
wrong.
some people who are not different. Some people are talking about like, say, Shotogan. She shows up for her, cameo. She's bringing you an even better chocolate, and it's like, yeah, she's just her. She didn't give a shit.
Shout out that she just fucking put Kama under her arm and just ran.
Yeah. Kama has a great cameo as well. I actually brought this up on the one that people do draw comparisons between Cupid and Kama because of the bow and arrow of love thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's Kama.
Yeah.
Kama makes everything way too complicated, and that's why I love her.
Yes. Oh, okay. So, Axe actually brought this up, and this is something I do want to bring up. I do think there is a little bit of a translation, like, weirdness when this event is brought into English. So, you guys have noticed, right? There's always this commentary that, like, people see Karen as Amor and are like, oh, Eros. And then she's like, no, that's not me. There seems to be some, I don't know, like, where the mix-up is exactly, and I do kind of like that the event paints it a little like this is Karen's own personal opinion, which could be flawed. You can tell that she clearly has her own ideas of how love works as a philosophical concept. But I talk about this in the Wanted, but some of you guys haven't watched that, so we'll break it down again here. For those who don't know, Eros in Greek is the god of love and desire, usually referred to as the son of Aphrodite, but also, according to some versions, was a primordial deity who existed. I think the Theogony puts him, like, right after Gaia and before Tartarus. Jesus. Like, yeah, no, he's fucking old. Like, I think it's, like, right after Chaos and Gaia. You had love. So, super primordial shit. And then they kind of, like, conflated that with the son of Aphrodite later. I'm not a Greek speaker, but my understanding is that the term eros can be translated as a form of love or desire, because the Greek language has a lot of words for love.
Yeah, I'm about to say, don't they have, like, and, like, the Greek or Roman, isn't there, like, basically, like, define love and, like, one of the philosophers defined love in, like, 4 different sectors?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
Technically, in the ancient Greek, there were 5, but C.S. Lewis wrote a very famous, like, book or essay called The Four Loves. Fun fact, C.S. Lewis cut out what in Greek was called xenia, which was guest friendship, which is sacred hospitality. That thing Zeus is really big on. But C.S. Lewis's 4 types of love is very, very famous interpretation of that Greek philosophical concept. That is like, storge, philia, eros, agape, which are all very important to Amor Karen's character. Storge is, familial love or affection. Philia is
family.
Yeah, family. Storge is family affection. Philia is friendship.
Friendship.
Eros is romantic love, which C.S. Lewis divides from just sexual desire as Venus. And agape is that universal selfless love of man, Yeah, it's supposed, agape is supposed to be kind of like a love between man and God, but it's also not necessarily pitched as only that. The idea is that that's like the truly like selfless love of man thing, and that's what Karen's NP is all about. So I think what's happening here is that, basically like a devotional kind of love, the kind of, like I said, like a selfless. It's described as like when you have agape for someone, all of your actions you think about how you can do better by them without any thought for yourself, kind of a thing. But anyway, so obviously a lot of our characters are a little more Greek-leaning than Roman, right?
Yeah.
Like Artemis, for instance. So it seems natural for them to refer to the god that is fused with Karen as Eros. And she's like, no, I am Amor. I am the god of love, not that icky desire stuff. And that's just a little weird, because like I said, I think the word in Greek, Eros, can be translated either as love or desire. That division comes in Latin as cupido means desire, and amor means love, obviously, if you've ever, listened to anybody, sing about when the moon hits your eye. That's amore. So I think technically this script would make more sense if Karen was like, I am not Cupid, I am amor, because that is all Latin, and that makes sense as a split. And to be fair, the ancient Romans did have a lot of jokes about the difference there. There was a lot of, double entendres about Cupid or Cupido meaning desire, not just love. Like talking about, Cupid associated with desire for power or glory kind of a thing. But yeah, that's just a weird thing where they try and draw this connection. Obviously, Karen as being, all I'm super devoted to capital G God, man. The Eros stuff is not really in her angle, even though there's that very awkward conversation with Erise about going commando. And I like how Erise is like, I'm not going commando though. Oh, yeah, but
Karen marches to the beat of her own drum.
Yes, no matter what happens. And to be fair, she is a pseudo-servant, so parts of her are Karen, obviously, and Karen has a lot of the driver's seat in this relationship for, various reasons.
I think the way to describe it is the god entrusted Karen with the power and authority.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
But that still means that there's some amorness in there. You can't accept a god's authority. We'll get to that, okay? Don't talk about the giant baby. I know it happens in her MP sometimes. We'll come back to that. That, though, is a reference to fucking Capsule. The Capsule Coliseum, was it called?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, which, when this came out in JP, that
it wasn't Capsule Coliseum, because it's called Capsule Servant.
Oh, okay, Capsule Servant, thank you. Yeah, anyway, the Capsule game. Which, when this came out in JP, was recently put on Android and iOS stores in Japan, and obviously is not available over here, for some reason. Because somebody hates money, I guess. Up to the point where I do believe that Karen is supposed to plug Capsule Servant. I don't know how that one's going to be translated. We'll see in a couple of days, I think. The cherub word is a little loaded. Cherub is an abbreviation of cherubim, which is a type of biblical angel, which is not usually a fat baby. Those are cupids, as in the plural, or I think the Italian term is puto, little baby. But yeah, that's just it's one of those weird, European cultural drift things. I talk about this in the 1 and 2. There is apparently a very brief attempt to try and demonize Cupid as ooh, is he a demon of desire? Meh, sex is bad. That didn't work because I think Europeans love fat babies too much. So Cupid was just sucked into the Romanized Hellenistic culture oeuvre as just a symbol of love, which is why if you check your trash for those Valentine's decorations, you will still find little cherubic cupids. Anyway, there's your mythology and linguistics lesson for the day. But yeah, this event is fun and funny. I like a lot of the little cameos we do. See a few people come back who you wouldn't expect. I'm kind of interested to see what our future plot point is as well, and talk about it more. Yeah, I'm sure I mentioned about Castoria's scenes. Like I said, I haven't gone through and spent my chocolates yet. I've been waiting for some downtime. I've been very focused on finishing Dead Space and Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel was doing some events because they decided to hold their 1-year anniversary on Valentine's. God, I don't know why.
I can give you a pretty compelling reason.
Why?
Because I'm pretty sure a lot of the people who play Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably aren't doing much on Valentine's Day.
I mean, maybe. To be fair, a lot of the event stuff was later over the week, but I don't know. It seems like a weird tie-in. Then again, Master Duel's on phones, so maybe they think you can log in if you do happen to be out somewhere. I don't know. It's run by Konami in Japan, runs the servers, so that means that they're doing this Japanese Valentine's Day style, so I don't know. Maybe they do think that their players aren't busy that day. Or they just needed a big holiday to coordinate it too, because Master Duel is weird. Seriously, it's the 1-year anniversary was 2 weeks ago at this point. But yeah, so I've only done my super lock-ons. Castorius was very interesting. There's a lot of stuff in it, a lot of references that I think are foreshadowing. And it's a very brief comment, but they do bring up that when she tried to make chocolate with Magecraft, it all turns out sword-shaped. It's a very cute little subtle thing they're putting in there. And Muramasa's was just as old manny as I thought it would be. I do like that he thinks like, oh shit, I'm not gonna hear the end of it for anybody if I give them back a sword. So he gives you some mochi and a brazier instead. So he's not good at ceramics, but he managed to make a functional brazier pot in like a day. So half a day, maybe. Actually, there's a brief time skip. But yeah, no. I will probably burn through my new scenes with my lock-ons by next week when I've got more point stuff done. Lucky, you said earlier your favorite was Van Gogh.
Yep. There's a lot of Van Goghs in there.
Oh, we got the pot done in 3 hours. Damn. And he's like, oh, it's a little rough around the edges. Be modest. Yeah, many Goghs. Ha 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 ha. That means I still haven't seen my my Ibuki Doji one yet, but we'll get there.
I have. It's danger.
Yes, I suspected it would be. So there's a few to fire through there. Anything else to say about Valentine's?
Not particularly, no.
Right. We will probably then have to slide on back and talk about, the event in full when it's out. But that means we can wind down. We have been going for over an hour now, almost an hour 20. And I do have a little bit of the monthly business to go through. First of all, Fanservant Friday poll. You guys have somehow done it. It's a 3-way tie. So I need Lucky to be the tiebreaker. Our 3 tied entries are Saber Lamalpin, writer Maria Okiabriska, and assassin Mina Harker.
Let's go with Mina Harker.
Okay. It's locked in. Lucky's picking that so he can make more Van Helsing jokes.
Oh, I told him going to make more Van Helsing jokes.
Boom. There's a subtle boom. Love that supercut. But yeah, so that is the result of that. But also, I talked about this as a setup and some other stuff. But I am attempting to do extra polls for bonus stream for probably the 24th, but maybe the 3rd. It'll depend on the timing and what other stuff we're doing. But basically, I put these polls up for patrons and our YouTube members. So obviously, I'm letting you know about them to our general public so that you might consider them. And the idea is just to see what happens with that, because I did a bonus poll that was just public to everybody on YouTube, and that seemed pretty well received, so we're going to try it, behind the paywall and see if that works, or if it doesn't work, whatever, and go from there. So I have 2 polls up. I will do advanced math to figure out what is where, because it's not that hard to calculate percentages of a total number of votes. But let me see. We've got a decent number of votes on both. The 4 options I have picked is Ace Combat 7 DLC, because I never streamed the DLC missions, and I figured that might be relevant because AC7 is going to be on PS Plus this month, along with a lot of other stuff. Tune into What's Up for us to talk about that one a little bit. I put Back 4 Blood back on there, because, it's been a little bit since I played it. I do like Back 4 Blood and wouldn't mind setting that one up. Judgment, Lost Judgment as usual, just because I need to scratch that one off my list before I move on to Like a Dragon Ishin, but just in case in the next couple of weeks, if I actually do wrap up Judgment, which I might put in Lost Judgment instead. And, of course, everyone's eternal torment, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, because you guys like to see my suffering. And I think technically between the 2, it looks like Ace Combat 7 is got a little bit of extra juice in there, but I would not count out Master Duel just yet. Nor technically Back 4 Blood. That's got a few votes. Judgment's trailing a little bit. I understand. That one's got a lot of body to it. So I understand why maybe as like a one-off bonus stream you guys aren't as interested, but, I'm thinking with my brain. So, you can support us on Patreon at the 5 and up level to access all the polls for topics all the time, including Fanservant Friday. And YouTube membership is a humble $2 a month, and you can click the little join button right now. So, let's see. As we discussed, our next thing, obviously we got probably a weekish of Valentine's left. Actually, what is the end date? I can check that. I have that power. Also, everybody in the live chat, make sure to log into FGO if you didn't log in today, because it's about to roll over. I assume most people are, but I like to say it. The 26th, so yeah, we've got a little over 10 days. So, plenty of time on that. The time gates will all be done by next week, so we'll just be wrapping up events and stuff. But that probably means that, that upcoming Monday is probably going to be the whatever our equivalent of 23 million downloads is, to kind of lead up towards White Day. And as I said, keep in mind, there will be a, say, Shonogun banner and last year's CEs coming up soon, TM.
Yeah.
If you're, interested in firing up your Catalyst tracks for that, there is a Wanted for Say somewhere in here. 21 minutes, 57 seconds. I added extra sparkles to that one. So you can check that out, as well as, like I said, if you want to hear me yell more about Cupid, go ahead and check out the one for Karen that came out. Well, I think that's everything. Oh, actually, no, there's one more thing. We should say this. Lucky and my copies of Mahoyo arrived.
Oh, yeah.
In the big box with the art book.
Yep.
The art book is like, yo, spoilers. I have not started playing that. I will get to it at some time. And I've talked about this with Lucky. We should probably, coordinate a little so that we can talk about it, in bulk at some time. I'm sure you guys will be interested, but we'll figure that one out when we've got time, because, oh my god, video games.
Yeah, I got a lot going on.
Some little book club. But yeah, so that's just another thing to throw out there. Our copies did arrive. They are very shiny. They are in very lovely big boxes. And we will get there when we get there. With that, though, I think that's everything. As usual, I will say, Patron Chat, you're live, you're connected. Anything you think we are forgetting to mention? Anything else going on in the Fate world? I think we've covered most everything.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I don't see anything in News Desk. There might be another live stream coming up for JP for the winter cycle. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. That was the $20 million. Somebody's talking about the skill missions. That was all in that package. Yeah, there probably should be another live stream for, I think there's one more for the Winter Festival. That will probably be to talk about whatever we're doing for White Day this year. I don't know if that will be a full event or what, but, it will exist. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that stuff. Well, if that's everything, I will scooch along with the edit, and we will get on out of here. Enjoy your time. I hope everybody had a pleasant Valentine's Day, and I look forward to, pleasant days of March or whatever. Easter, I guess, that's a thing that people do sometimes. So, time to do the outro. Outro goes a little something like this. Click the like button on this video if you liked it. If you want to leave any comments, like whether or not you like owls, that's right, I did a callback. Leave that in the comment section down below. You can also join our Discord. Link in the video description and on our channel page. If you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to the channel to get more videos. And even if you're already subscribed, make sure to click that bell, ring it, as some people say, so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream it, because we do that a decent amount. I mentioned before, you can join our channel memberships to get access to that poll and also membership badges and emotes. And you can support us on Patreon to get access to this episode in audio format for as little as $1 a month or approximately $10 dues a year. Lots of other benefits. If you want more of us, make sure to check out What's Up live streamed, usually right after this goes public on YouTube. Check out our previous streams. Lucky finished up the Dead Space remake this week. We streamed a lot of 14. I got to fight some dragons. Big dragons. We had our usual Yu-Gi-Oh! Fail Portrayal stream, and Monday we did more Dad of Boy, which we will continue next Monday. I think that's everything. So, Lucky, anything you want to leave the people with?
Mate.
Alright, then, we out. Smoke bomb.